Hey guys, welcome to the Max Invest YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to talk about a few big bits of news surrounding Solana, Chainlink, and Ethereum. You might know that recently the Solana Wormhole bridge was attacked, and I want to discuss how Chainlink and cross-chain interoperability protocol could actually fix this. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, the links are down below in the description, and remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Solana wormhole hack. Essentially, if you don't know what Solana's wormhole is, all it is it's a bridge from the Solana or from the Ethereum network to the Solana network. So if you have a bunch of assets on Ethereum, such as Ether, you can bridge that Ether over to Solana. Let's use an example. Say you want to send 5 ETH over to the Solana network from Ethereum. You will go to the Solana wormhole and you'll send that 5 ETH over. What will then happen is 5 ETH will be locked in the bridge contract, and you will then be issued 5 wrapped ETH on the Solana network, so this will be called WETH. Now you'll be able to do whatever you want with the WETH and use it freely on Solana. The important thing is that your WETH is backed by real ETH in the bridge contract. Essentially, what happened in this hack is the attacker basically stole some ETH out of the bridge contract, and what this meant is that all of the individuals who were using ETH on Solana, or about 10 to 15% of them, didn't actually have their ETH backed. They were using WETH and there was no backing there, which is of course unbelievably bad, and it could result in the collapse of the WETH price. Of course, it didn't result in that collapse in this scenario. However, in future scenarios, this definitely could happen. $300 million worth of ETH was drained out of the wormhole bridge, and this is an insane amount. Here's a screenshot of the transaction right here for anyone who is interested. Now, there are a few reasons as to how this actually happened. Essentially, the Solana wormhole bridge was controlled by a multi-signature wallet. This means that there's a series of individuals who are guarding the bridge. What happened is the attacker made it look like all of these guardians came together and they signed a transaction allowing the attacker to withdraw 80,000 ETH. Of course, the guardians did not sign this transaction, and this was falsified. Essentially, there was a bug in the smart contract, and this smart contract bug allowed the attacker to effectively lie about the fact that the signature check program was executed. So this meant that the signatures weren't being checked, the attacker could get through false signatures, and this would therefore result in the attack occurring and them stealing $300 million. As I've already said, this attack arose from a smart contract bug. Now, this smart contract bug came up a few hours before the attack actually happened, which showed that the attacker was probably monitoring bridges constantly and waiting for exploits that they could actually come in and capitalize on. So this was an interesting thing, and this is why I do believe that Chainlink could actually help resolve this. Essentially, you may know that Chainlink is building a cross-chain interoperability protocol. What this means is Chainlink are building a programmable token bridge. This means that it's unlike any other bridge. You can send tokens via the programmable token bridge, however you can also send commands to this bridge, and this means that smart or cross-chain smart contracts can actually work. You can have cross-chain applications via the programmable token bridge, and this is something that I am very excited for. One important thing to note is this bridge exploit happened due to a smart contract bug. This can happen in any line of code and any bridge that is made. Chainlink's programmable token bridge could have a bug in it, and it could result in it being exploitable just like this bridge. However, there is one key difference between the Chainlink programmable token bridge and other bridges. Essentially, Chainlink's CCIP will have an anti-fraud network. This network will essentially check for any forms of malicious activity. If some of Chainlink's validators are acting maliciously, the anti-fraud network will actually step in and they will correct this. Now, they will also be monitoring the programmable token bridge. They'll be checking the messaging contract and they'll be checking all of the code in it at all times. This means that if a really bad bit of code popped up and this made it so the Chainlink programmable token bridge was exploitable, Chainlink's anti-fraud network would be able to quickly correct this and make it so no hacker could exploit this. As I previously stated, the smart contract bug came up a couple of hours before the attacker actually attacked the bridge. This means that if we were using Chainlink, I would hope that the anti-fraud network would be able to find this bug within 2 hours, and this would therefore result in nothing actually being exploited. So I do think that Chainlink's bridging system is going to be the future of bridges. I think that sending token commands to bridges as well is going to be very unique and very useful. And overall, I do think that Chainlink actually has the solution to Solana's problem right now. Anyway, Chainlink's CCIP is yet to be fully built out, and it will be interesting to see if the anti-fraud network is as robust as promised. The anti-fraud network would just be a separate committee of Chainlink validator nodes that are economically incentivized to make sure that CCIP and Chainlink's programmable token bridge is working well at all times. Now, the next big bit of news that I want to talk about is Chainlink is officially verified on Twitter. All this means is that Twitter have essentially given Chainlink a blue check next to their name, and all this means is it makes it very difficult for scammers to impersonate Chainlink, and it shows that Chainlink is one of the larger, more valid accounts on Twitter, which I do think is well deserved. Of course, I do think that this blue check has come quite late, and I do think that everyone who's related to finance that is big should have a blue check to their name, and the reason for this is because there are a lot of scammers who try to impersonate people, and it's a lot easier to differentiate individuals if they are verified by Twitter. The next big bit of news that I want to talk about is an article on how to value Chainlink. I will leave a link to this article in the description below. What this article says is it says that Chainlink can be valued on its total value secured. If you don't know what total value secured means, it just means the amount of money and the amount of value that's actually using Chainlink services. For example, if Aave is using Chainlink price feeds and Aave has $10 billion locked in it, this means that Chainlink is securing $10 billion. Of course, this flows on for all of Chainlink's different services, and this gives individuals a good gauge of how many people and how many organizations, how many decentralized applications are actually using Chainlink services. Now, what this article essentially suggested is it suggested that you can basically take Chainlink's total value secured and you can divide that by the amount of Chainlink tokens that are actually circulating. Of course, what this ends up doing is it gives you a fair value of roughly $58 if you look at Chainlink's entire supply of 1 billion link tokens. However, if you look at Chainlink's circulating supply, this gives them a value of $124. Now, I do think that it is good to actually look at some of these valuation models to look for undervaluation or overvaluation. However, in my opinion, this isn't the best way of valuing Chainlink. Now, the reason why I don't like this valuation method that much is essentially because all value secured is different. One protocol can be using Chainlink for a range of different things. They could be using Chainlink's CCIP, Chainlink's keepers, Chainlink's price feeds, and all of Chainlink's services, and they could be using it actively. If they're actively using a bunch of Chainlink services, this means they're actively paying Chainlink node operators, which will therefore mean they're adding heaps of value to the Chainlink network. Whereas on the other hand, you could get another protocol that might even be bigger, but they're only using Chainlink price feeds or maybe Chainlink verifiable randomness on the rare occasion. Of course, what this means is it means all value secured is different. Therefore, I don't think you can actually get a very good valuation purely by using Chainlink's value secured. I did have a bit of an argument about this on Twitter where I did say it would be better to use fee revenue. However, it was pointed out that even fee revenue is not the best mechanism of valuing Chainlink right now, and the reason for this is Chainlink are doing a lot of subsidies right now in order to get people more on board to Chainlink to earn more future fee revenue. So overall, it's very hard to value cryptocurrencies right now. I think it's great to look at different valuations. However, I wouldn't take this too seriously. I wouldn't be using the $58 to $124 as a serious benchmark, but it definitely is good to look at. That's just my opinion. Now, the next thing I also wanted to discuss is a new podcast came out from Bankless on how to value ETH. Of course, this podcast was extremely bullish, and it essentially used a discounted cash flow mechanism to actually value ETH. We know that annualized ETH is getting about $16.2 billion in revenue, and a lot of this revenue is being burnt by EIP 1559. Essentially, this is like a stock buyback, and all of the other revenue is going directly to shareholders. Basically, this means that Ethereum is very efficient, and if you actually look at Ethereum right now, it does look a bit undervalued from a DCF perspective. Of course, I do also believe that while this is definitely quite good, this argument is also partially flawed, and in my opinion, the reason that you can see things like stocks having such a consistent valuation is because they have been around so long. People think a 20 PE ratio is roughly right for the S&P 500, so all stocks eventually go back to roughly somewhere around that PE ratio, and the market likes to average out about there. Of course, every single investor has a different time frame of when they want to get the money they've put in the stock back from dividends, and overall this means that stocks can be pretty arbitrarily valued, and I do think right now cryptos with not that much history are being valued pretty arbitrarily. So I wouldn't once again take this too seriously. I wouldn't think that this means Ethereum's going straight to $12,000. However, it is something interesting to look at. Now, the last big bit of news that I wanted to talk about is Immutable X are essentially partnering with Gamestop. Of course, this is where Gamestop wants to create their own NFT marketplace, and I think this is a good move for Gamestop. Gamestop was a dying business. They got thrown a life jacket where they got hundreds of millions of dollars, and they are using this to dive into NFTs, which I think is a good move. And of course, Immutable X is a Validium on top, or a Volition on top of the Ethereum network, so it adds a lot of value to Ethereum, and I definitely am excited. Now, one thing that I also wanted to point out about this news is recently a lot of people thought that Loopring, another Ethereum Layer 2, was partnering with GameStop. However, this has been confirmed false, and I do find it interesting that these rumors started in the first place. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It really would be much appreciated. Also, a quick announcement is that we're having Anthony Sassano on the channel. I've already recorded the interview and I'm going to be posting it tomorrow, so you should stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching the video.